This is a tutorial for beginners. Basically, if you know scales and chords, don't watch this video because you'll just get bored and turn it off. So I'm going to start by showing you the letters of the piano, how to make sharps and flats. Then I'll show you how to make scales, and then I'll show you how to make chords from the scales. Right, so let's start off with the very bottom key of the piano, which is an A. Then we go B, C, D, E, F, G, and when we get to G we go back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then we go back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and so on all the way up the piano. Now, how we can make, how can we distinguish which notes are on the piano? So, say we want an A over here on the piano. How do we find it? Well, these black keys here are there to help you memorize where the keys are. Imagine if all the black keys were white keys sitting where they were between, we wouldn't be able to distinguish which notes which. So we have these black keys here to help us where we are on the piano. And say we want to find a C, then we know that C is always before two black keys. So C is always before two black keys. Then we have D, then we have E, F, G, and then back to A. So remember, when you get to G, you always go back to A. Now, how do we distinguish other notes? Well, just sit there for half an hour, memorising it. You've only got to learn 8, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 letters you've got to memorise where they are. I believe 6 letters. 4, 5, 6, 7 registered. 88 keys. So, say we want to find an A. Well, A's there. We can note in our head that A's between these two black keys of the 3 blacks. So A would be there, A would be there, A would be there. D would be between the 2 black keys. So sit there, work that out for yourself. One last one. F's before 3 black keys. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and so on and so on. Now, for scales, how do we make a scale? Well, we can do the traditional way of 2 whole steps, half step, 3 whole steps, half step. Now, a half step is from key to key. So, from C to this black note is a half step, or from B to the C is a half step. Now, from C to the D is a whole step, because we've gone half step, whole step. Remember, 2 wholes make a 2 halves make a whole. Now, for the scale pattern, it's 2 whole steps, half step, 3 whole steps, half step. So we go whole step, so 1 half step, whole step. Then we need to do another whole step, so 1 half step, whole step. Then we need to do a half step. Then we need to do a whole step, 1 half step, whole step. Then we need to do another whole step, 1 half step, whole step. And again, whole step, half step, whole step, and then end on a half step. So that's how you build the scale. Now, if you want to build it in other keys, then you can just do the same thing. Say we want to take it in D, so we need to start with D, we need to do a whole step, then we need to do another whole step, then we need to do a whole half step, and we need to do a whole step, whole step, whole step, and then half step back to the D. So sit there, play around with working the scales out. I can't be any more simpler than that. Now, how to make flats and sharps. Say we want to make a C sharp. Well, we take the C and we higher the pitch by a half step. That's a C sharp. Say we want to make a C flat. Well, we lower the pitch. We flat the pitch by going 1 down. Remember, left of the piano is low and the right of the piano is high. Or you can look at it as left is going down and right is going up. So flat is down and sharp is up. So say we're on D, we want to make a D sharp, or we just go a half step. Say we want to make a D flat, or we just go a half step down. Say we want to make a D flat flat, then we go D flat 1, flat 2 would be C. Say we want to make a D double sharp, we go 1 half step, 1 sharp, 2 sharps, which would be an E. And that's how to make sharps and flats. Now, how to make chords? Well, we can. Firstly, let me just go back to what I was talking about, the scales. See in the scales where we have all the notes of the Y of the C is Y, which we just learned, and we learnt the D as well. Now, each note in the scale has a number, and if we're in a scale of C, C would be 1, D 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't think it goes to that, I don't know, but you can just count up. So, to make a major chord, we take 1, 3, and 5. And the fingers you should use for them chords are your first finger, the thumb is 1, thumb's 1, index finger's 2, middle finger's 3, the ring finger's 4, and your little finger is 5. So for this, to take a major chord, we use 1, 3, and 5. Why? Because we can hit the other keys with our other fingers, and it's more comfortable to hold instead of doing that. How can you hold your little finger with all the other chords when you do that? You know, well, you can, but it's impossible. Not impossible, it's just hard. So we just use 1, 3, and 5 to make a major chord. And the note 1, 3, and 5 is the major chord. So you'll notice that the fingers you use are the same notes on the piano, except from if you use your left hand. 5 would be on 1, 3 would be on 3, and 1 would be on 5. So that's how to make a major chord. 1, 3, and 5 from the scale. Now, how to make a minor chord? Well, we just take we take the third note and we flat it. And that's a minor. It's a minor third. That's a major third. That's a minor third. Now, in D, oh, actually, there's another way you can make major chords, which is, when I first started playing the piano years ago, I learned this way. Shouldn't have really, but I did. So what I did is I counted 3 keys between the first 2 notes I was holding down. So 1, 2, 3 keys between them 2. And then I counted 2 keys between them 2 keys. And that helps me make a major chord anywhere. And then over time, you'll just get so used to it, you'll just be like, oh, well, give me an F sharp major, you know, give me a G sharp major. You'll just get used to it. And another way to make minor chords is hold 2 down, but make sure you have 2 keys between what you hold down, 1, 2, and then have 3 keys between the next note that you hold down. And that is how to make a minor chord. So major, 3 keys between the first 2, and then 2 keys between them. And minor, 2 keys between the first 2, and then 3 keys between the second 2. Now I'm going to take this a little further, and I'm going to introduce sevenths. I know that you're probably beginning, what's a 7th chord? Well, it's just the same as a major chord, but you're just adding a 7th note into it. Or that 7th, you know. You're just adding another note. Remember, the scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the 7th note is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So we just include the 7th note with the major chord. Sorry, I shouldn't be able to see. So we have the major chord and the 7th note. And there is also a minor 7th, which is you just flat the major seventh, because that is a major seventh. You just flat it down to the minor seventh, and you have a minor seventh chord. I prefer the minor seventh chord. It's blues. See these major seven chords are really good for jazz. You know, whatever. So we have seventh chord, minor seventh chord, and another way how to quickly distinguish how to make a seventh chord. Well, say we're in C again, and we look at the octave up, the next C up. If we go back one, we know that that's seventh, and if we go back 2, 1, 2, which is a whole step, we know that's the minor seventh. And back one from the C is a major seventh, back 2 from the C is a minor seventh. Now say we're in the scale of D, if we go back 1, that would be the major seventh. If we go back 2, that would be the minor seventh. Minor, major. Pink Floyd use a lot of major sevens. I don't know why I said that, but I did. Right, basically that's it. If you can't understand this, then just watch it 3 times. Thank you.